So Pannell Enoteca, we started in 2021. And the reason was we purchased our fourth vineyard in 2021. And we own now, at that time we had 46 hectares of vineyards. And we wanted to create different stories that were connected to vineyard. So the narrative for each label, they were all separating. So we needed an overarching identity that all three labels could fit in, and potentially more, because the overarching fundamental belief within the company is that place is more important than the person. European winemakers have always celebrated where they make the wine rather than who makes the wine. In Australia, we've been more interested in who makes the wine. And so we're trying to not emulate European, but certainly seek inspiration from that connection to a place, which I suppose in French might be called terroir. We prefer to call it place here. And our place is, I think, so unique, not only within McLaren Vale, which has enormous geological diversity, but to have in the Adelaide Hills as well, a whole different environment, and that is better suited to a whole other different group of grape varieties. It became, it just made more sense to create something where they could all live as labels. Protero was, or is, a beautiful vineyard in the northern Adelaide Hills, just outside the township of Gamaraka. And it was planted in 1999 by a lovely Italian migrant couple called Frank and Rose Baldasso. And they owned fruit shops. And Frank decided to plant a vineyard and an apple orchard and a chestnut orchard and a lemon orchard and an olive orchard as well. It's an olive grove, maybe it's an olive grove. And he also planted, strangely, but very fortuitously, Nebbiolo. He also planted some grape varieties that aren't as exciting as Nebbiolo for us, like Pinot Noir and Chardonnay and Merlot and Cabernet and Viognier. But he planted 2 hectares of Nebbiolo, 5 clones, F12V7, F12V13, 111, 230, and a magical clone called Mudgy, which was imported into Australia in the 1960s by a winemaker called Carlo Carino and planted in Western New South Wales. It's a very difficult clone to grow, but that's the only reason we wanted to own the property. Suddenly we had a 16 hectare vineyard in the Adelaide Hills, and of the 16 hectares we only wanted 2 hectares. So we changed the whole vineyard immediately, as soon as we bought it, we started to change it, and it's now planted. So we took out the Viognier, Merlot, Cabernet, most of the Pinot Noir and most of the Chardonnay, and it is now planted to Dolcetto, Barbera, lots more Nebbiolo, Gewürztraminer, Riesling, Pinot Grigio, Pinot Blanc, and Terroirs, which is a grape variety we're very excited about. We believe, Stephen and Fiona and I very much believe, that the Adelaide Hills, the future of the Adelaide Hills with a warming climate is going to be, the Adelaide Hills are going to be better suited to more of the Italian varieties rather than the French origin varieties. And so Protero was born, and it's been a great success. So SC Pannell was the first label, set up originally as a negotiant label. The first wines were Nebbiolo, Grenache, and a Shiraz Grenache, and one Shiraz I think as well, so the 4 wines. And now has, I think 26 wines, and has changed dramatically. The future for us is exciting because we have bought the vineyards that we want in the right places. We have planted the varieties that we're excited about and are able to cope with a changing climate. We need next to spend energy and time on creating a better home for the labels. But I think it's all so exciting, especially for future generations, that we've established Grenache as a variety recognised around the world, and we've been very big part of establishing Grenache as a variety from McLaren Vale that people around the world are now recognising as a unique and special wine. Stephen's place in that is really important. We've firmly established that Italian varietals have a great home in the Adelaide Hills, and that they have a great home here in McLaren Vale, depending on where they come from in Italy. They are resistant to that changing climate, they deal with the heat, they don't need a lot of water, and they make beautiful wines of fruit flavour and tannin, and that's the most exciting thing about them. And then to grow Shiraz at Camellia at 2 tonnes per hectare in a regenerative space and create wines of medium body that taste clearly of a place, a unique place, is exciting now, but will become even more exciting as that continues. So for us, there is so much to be excited about in what we do.